Join Kids Hut family. Tia, today our teacher spoke to us about putting others first before our own needs. That's very nice. Tell me something, Tia. Even if it makes them unhappy, do people put others before their own needs? Some people who have a really nice heart do. I remember the story of the happy prince. Do you want to hear it, Tofu? Yes. Once upon a time, a beautiful golden statue of the most beautiful smiling prince stood in the town center. It was covered with gold leaves and had eyes made of blue sapphire. It had a huge red ruby on the hilt of its sword. Everyone who ever saw the happy prince fell in love with it. The baker, whose flour had just fallen on the floor, saw it and said,
"Oh, happy prince, I wish I could always be happy like him. From now on, I will."
The schoolgirl, whose mother wouldn't buy her ice cream, saw the happy prince and said, "Oh, the happy prince! I wish I could always be like him. From now on, I will." At the same time, in the forest near the city, a swallow asked his new bride,
"My love, all our friends have left for Egypt for the winters. There, they will see the Pharaoh's palace and bask in the sun in the royal gardens. They will enjoy many fruits and berries of different kinds. We must join them there."
but his bride just nodded her head to say no.
"We will come back after the winters. You must let go of your attachment with this home and dwelling."
Bride again nods no.
"You are being foolish, my new bride, but I must go. My friends wait for me."
And so the swallow flies away. After a whole day of flying, he is halfway through the happy prince's city and then begins to feel tired.
"I think I will rest the night here and start again for Egypt tomorrow. This golden statue is very beautiful. I will rest between his feet."
Just as the swallow was about to sleep, a large drop of water fell on him.
"What? Where did this come from? The sky is clear."
Just as the swallow was getting ready to sleep again, another large drop of water fell on him. When he looked up, he saw that the prince was crying.
"Who are you?"
I am the happy prince.
"Why are you crying then?"
I lived in the city palace once. I was always happy. I had no reason to be sad because I knew my people were happy too. When I died, they made a golden statue of me and put me here. From here, I can see the sadness of my people, and my heart, though it's made of lead, feels sad.
"What do you see, a golden prince?"
Far away, I can see a seamstress. Her fingers are red and bloody from endless stitching. Next to her, on a bed, is a little boy. He is sick with fever and is crying out for oranges. But the seamstress doesn't have anything other than river water to give him. Oh, Swallow, take the ruby from my sword and give it to her.
No, no. I have to go to Egypt. I cannot stay. And if I go to the seamstress's house, I won't be able to reach Egypt.
Please, Swallow, the child is very thirsty.
Well, okay. I will go.
So the swallow took the ruby from the hilt of the prince's sword and flew to the seamstress's house. By the time he got there, the tired seamstress had fallen asleep on her working table. So the swallow kept the ruby on the table. Then he flew around the sick boy's bed, flapping his wings. I feel so much cooler. I think I must be getting better. By the time the swallow returned, it was the next night. I will now go to Egypt. But the prince was crying again. I can see a hard-working man filled with despair. He is a writer and must finish his next play soon. But he is tired because he has no food to eat. Won't you stay another night and help that man?
Okay, one night it is. Should I take another ruby to him?
Alas, I have no ruby to give him now. But my eyes are made of sapphire. Take one of my eyes.
No, no, I cannot do that.
But I order you to do so. And so the swallow plucked out the prince's eye and flew away to the writer's house. By the time he reached there, the writer had fainted out of hunger and cold. The kind swallow put the sapphire on the writer's desk and collected dry twigs and lit a fire for the writer before he flew back to the prince. When he returned to the prince, it was the next night again. And once again, the prince was tearful.
What is wrong, Prince?
In the square, I can see a match girl crying. All her matches have fallen into the gutter and got spoiled. No one will buy them now. She's afraid her father will be angry when she goes home without any money. Please, Swallow, take my other eye and give it to her.
No, no, I cannot do that. You will become blind.
But I order you to do so. And so the swallow plucked out the prince's other eye and took it to the little girl. The girl became very happy when she saw the stone and went home skipping. The swallow returned to the prince. Now you can go to Egypt, my friend.
No, now I cannot go, my friend. I will stay here and become your eyes.
So the swallow stayed by the prince. Every day he would fly over the city and tell the prince the sorry tales he saw. The prince would then tell the swallow to pluck out a gold leaf from his body and give it to the poor people of his city. Soon there were no leaves left on the body of the prince. All that was left was his cold grey body. It kept getting colder as the winters kept setting in and the weather kept getting chillier. The swallow knew that he will not survive the season much longer.
My friend, it is time for me to go.
Finally, you're going to Egypt.
Not Egypt, but towards death.
Isn't it like sleep after all? But before I go, can I kiss you?
I will once again be sad without you. Kiss me before you go.
And so the frail swallow kissed the prince and fell at his feet dead. Suddenly, there was a loud sound like a crack. It was the sound of breaking of the prince's lead heart. In the morning, the mayor of the city crossed the statue.
What an ugly statue! And it has a dead bird at its feet too. Break it down immediately and put up my statue instead.
A few hours later, when the mayor's men broke the statue apart, they found the two pieces of the prince's heart, and they threw it into the bin next to the dead swallow. That's when God said to his angels,
Bring me the most precious two things in the world.
and they took the dead swallow and the prince's broken heart to God.
Well chosen, my angels. From now on, the swallow will sing in my heaven, and the prince will praise my ways.
So you see, Tofu, even if you forgo some happiness by putting others before you, there are always better things waiting for you.
Yes, Tia. Now I understand what my teacher was talking about. The boys in my class are very mean to me. They are so tall and big that I always have to listen to whatever they say. I am afraid to disagree with them.
Size has nothing to do with courage, Tofu. You don't have to be afraid just because you're short. Have you heard the story of Peter Pan? Peter Pan. Once upon a time, in London, the Darlings went out to a dinner party, leaving their 3 children, Wendy, John, and Michael, at home. After Wendy had tucked her younger brothers, John and Michael, to bed, she went to read a book. she heard a boy sobbing outside her window. He was flying. There was a little fairy fluttering around him. Wendy opened the window to talk to him. "Hello, who are you? Why are you crying?" "My name is Peter Pan. My shadow wouldn't stick to me." "Don't worry. Come inside." Peter agreed. Wendy took his shadow and sewed it to his shoe tips. Now his shadow followed him wherever Peter Pan went. He was delighted. "Thank you so much. Why don't you come with me to my home, the Neverland? I live there with my fairy Tinkerbell." "Oh, what a wonderful idea! Let me wake up John and Michael too. Could you teach us how to fly?" "Yes, of course. Get them. We will all fly together." And so it was. 5 little figures flew out of the window of the Darlings and headed towards Neverland. As they flew over the island, Peter Pan told the children more about his homeland. That island is Neverland. All the children who get lost come and stay with Tinkerbell and me. The Indians also live in Neverland. The mermaids live in the lagoon around the island. And a very mean pirate called Captain Hook keeps troubling everyone. Captain Hook? Yes, a crocodile bit off his one arm. So the captain had to put a hook in its place. Since then, he's afraid of crocodiles. And rightly so. If the crocodile ever found Captain Hook, it will eat up the rest of what it couldn't eat the last time. Soon they landed on the island. And to the surprise of Wendy, John, and Michael, Peter Pan let them in through a small opening in a tree. Inside the tree was a large room with children inside it. Some were huddled by the fire in a corner, and some were playing amongst themselves. Their faces lit up when they saw Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and their guests. "Hello, everyone. This is Wendy, John, and Michael. They will be staying with us from now on." "Hello, Wendy, John, and Michael." A few days passed, and they settled into a routine. Wendy would take care of all the children in the day and would go out with Peter Pan and her brothers in the evening to learn more about the island. She would cook for them and stitch new clothes for them. She even made a lovely new dress for Tinkerbell. One evening, as they were out exploring the island, Peter Pan warned everyone and said, "Hide! Hide! Pirates!"
and they've kidnapped the Indian princess, Tiger Lily. They've kept her there, tied up by the rocks near the water.
Peter was afraid, and the princess would drown if she fell into the water. So, in a voice that sounded like Captain Hook, he shouted instructions to the pirates who guarded her.
You fools! Let her go at once! Do it before I come there, or else I will throw each one of you into the water.
The pirates got scared and immediately released the princess. She quickly dived into the water and swam to safety of her home. Soon everyone found out how Peter Pan had rescued the princess. When Captain Hook found out how Peter Pan had tricked his men, he was furious and swore to have his revenge. That night, Wendy told Peter Pan that she and her brothers wanted to go back home since they missed their parents. She said if the lost children could also return to her world, they could find nice homes for them. Peter Pan didn't want to leave Neverland. But for the sake of the lost children, he agreed, although a bit sadly. He would miss his friends dearly. The next morning, all the lost children left with Wendy, John, and Michael. But on the way, Captain Hook and his men kidnapped all of them. He tied them and kept them on one of his ships. As soon as Peter found out about it, he rushed to the ship. He swung himself from a tree's branch and onto the deck of the ship, where all the children were tied up. He swung his sword bravely and threw over the pirates who tried to stop him. Quickly, he released everyone from the captor's ties. Wendy, John, Michael, and Tinkerbell helped all the children into the water, where their friends from the Indian camp were ready with smaller boats to take them to safety. Peter Pan now went looking for Captain Hook.
Let us finish this forever, Hook. Yes, Peter Pan, you have caused me enough trouble. It is time that we finish this.
With his sword drawn, he raced towards Peter Pan. Quick on his feet, Peter Pan stepped aside and pushed Hook into the sea, where the crocodile was waiting to eat the rest of Hook. Everyone rejoiced as Captain Hook was out of their lives forever. Everybody headed back to London. Mr. and Mrs. Darling were so happy to see their children, and they agreed to adopt the lost children. They even asked Peter Pan to come and live with them. But Peter Pan said He never wanted to grow up, so he and Tinkerbell will go back to Neverland. Do visit us sometime, Peter Pan.
I will, Wendy. Promise.
And he flew out of the window with Tinkerbell by his side.
Thank you, Tia. I feel much better. The next time the boys are mean to me, I will find a nice way out.
Very good, Tofu. Now come, I can see Mom's car right there. Hey, Tofu. Do you want to come with me? I just saw my piggy bank has enough money to buy new books and toys for the children at the orphanage. You can help me buy and distribute the goodies.
You are going to give away all your savings to other children? How can you do that? Don't you want to buy something for yourself?
Tofu, we can't always think of ourselves. Sometimes we have to help those who do not have the same means as us. Let me tell you a story of kindness. This is a story from a long, long time ago in Nottingham, England, when Prince Richard ruled the country. His younger brother, Prince John, was a wicked prince who took care of the state while the king was away for wars. Prince John was unkind to common people of Nottingham and had no consideration for the poor. Under his charge, the rich became richer while the poor became poorer. The poor had no savior to save them other than Robin Hood, or the Hooded Thief as he was popularly known. Robin Hood had a trusted companion called Little John. Robin Hood would rob the rich merchants and the princess' caravans that carried the huge taxes collected from the poor as they crossed the Sherwood Forest, which was the home of Robin Hood, on the way to the prince's treasury. And he would distribute the loot amongst the poor. His generosity earned him the name Prince of Thieves amongst the common people, and also many rewards that were announced by the sheriff for his capture. But this did not stop Robin from doing his good deeds. One day, when Robin Hood and his friends had robbed the prince's caravan again, the prince called the sheriff of Nottingham to the palace. "This is the last time Robin Hood has humiliated my men and me, Sheriff.
What are your troops doing? Why haven't they caught that thief as yet? We are doing everything, Your Highness. I assure you, we will have him soon. You should, otherwise someone else will be punished.
The sheriff made a new plan with his men. He decided to announce an archery competition to be held in Nottingham, and the winner would be announced as the best archer in Nottingham and also win a kiss from the maiden Marian. One day, Robin Hood's friend Tuck came to visit him.
Have you heard of the archery competition that the sheriff has announced for tomorrow? Yes, we have, Friar. And the men and I think Robin shouldn't go to it. It is a trap laid by the sheriff. All of England knows that Robin Hood is the best archer by far. Robin doesn't need to go and prove anything there.
You worry too much, Little John. Lighten up. We will go and have some fun tomorrow. And to ensure that no one recognizes us, we'll wear disguises.
And so the next day, Robin Hood and his friends wore disguises and went to the competition. Just as Robin Hood had predicted, no one was able to recognize him. Soon it was Robin Hood's turn to shoot the arrows. He took the first shot at the bird and hit bullseye. The crowd cheered for this unknown archer. Then he took another arrow and shot it again. This one too hit bullseye. The crowd cheered louder. The cheering caught the sheriff's attention, and he turned to see what the matter was. By now, Robin had drawn his third arrow and took a shot. It too hit the bull's eye. When the fourth arrow also did the same, the sheriff realized something.
That is no stranger. That is Robin Hood. No one can shoot 4 arrows in a row like that. Grab him, men!
The whole crowd broke into a frenzy as the sheriff's men arrested Robin Hood.
Off with his head!
But Little John moved like a lightning flash and grabbed the prince and put a knife to his throat.
Release him immediately!
The sheriff's men had no choice except to let go of Robin Hood. The Prince of Thieves and his friends hollered and made their way out of the archery field, but not before Robin Hood climbed the audience tower and stole a kiss from the maiden Marian. Back at the Sherwood Forest, Robin Hood and his friends got together and celebrated.
You were right, Robin Hood. Today was a lot of fun. The sheriff had this coming. I am sure you surprised Maiden Marian too. Well, not as surprised as the prince is going to be when he finds out that we stole 4 bags of gold from his treasury during the sheriff's archery competition. Everybody laughed heartily.
Wow, Tia, this is such an inspirational story about being selfless and helping the helpless. I am going to change my ways from now onwards.
I am so proud of you, Tofu. That is such a great decision. Keep doing good deeds.
For your favorite rhymes, stories, and more, join Kids Hut family. Subscribe here.